Giving all glory and honor and praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash. Double honor to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us 100% truth. Shalom and salutations to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000 and the rest of the men, women, and children of the great multitude of the elect. I'm your brother Magun Shalamar of the GMS Philadelphia Plains Table Camp. The title of this video is Ukraine attack on Iranian vessel. So this video is just showing you how recently Ukraine has fired on the Iranian commercial vessel, and the Iranian people are saying that the small hats has pushed the Ukrainian government to fire on their ship. So we know this is all prophetic, that which is leading into World War III, which, like the elder apostles always saying, that this is already had started. World War III has already started, but the main event won't really take place until after the MOTB come out, which is the RFID chip that's going to come about on the whole entire world. But the part is that Ukraine used to be a part of the USSR when Russia was known to be the USSR. So that's why Russia and Ukraine are fighting, because Russia want Ukraine to be back a part of Russia, and so we're gonna let this video play. It's gonna be fair use, not for monetary gain, but for educational purpose only. Fair use.
Yes, well, it is, of course, an act of war and an act of aggression, and ultimately the Iranians will have to find a way to hurt the Zelensky regime. And I think Iran will enhance its cooperation with the Russians, because now that the Ukrainians have directly targeted Iran, I think that will only encourage the Iranians to cooperate more with Moscow in dealing with Ukraine. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Ukraine is a part of a broader coalition, and that is the EU, the collective West, the Arab family dictatorships in the region, the Israeli regime, NATO regimes. All of them are on the same team. They're all on the same side. They're all a part of a broader coalition that is subordinate to empire, that is subordinate to the Epstein class or the Zionist oligarchy. So he plays, Zelensky and his regime, of course, will play this role. But it's not just them, as you earlier pointed out. It's the British, it's the French, it's the Europeans, it's the Saudi regime, it's the Omani government to a degree. It is Jordan, it is Egypt, it is Turkey, unfortunately. So, the United States still, even though it is a declining empire, but it still has a very large number of proxies that work for it in enforcing empire. But in any case, it will fail in our part of the world. And whether it's Zelensky or anyone else who carries out strikes on Iranian targets, the Iranians will retaliate in one form or another. And the Iranians will ultimately, they will emerge victorious, as will the people of Yemen and the entire axis of resistance.
So yeah, it's also prophetic that the beast shall hate the whore, because when this war began, when it actually gets started, a lot of America's allies that are part of the beast, the NATO, the EU, they're going to also be at war with America. So just because America has a lot of allies now, prophetically, when this World War III really kicks off, they're going to go to war against America as well. So they're going to all join, with Russia, and that's really the end of Esau's kingdom, when America is, destroyed through uh, nuclear, the nuclear fire of destruction coming from the ICBM missiles. And also when Yahweh Shah returns inside of those chariots with his angels, destroying this place with those laser beams from chariots. This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 1. It says, "And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog." The land of Magog is talking about where Russia is at now, the land of the north. It says, "The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus said Yahweh, the Most High Power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal." Yeah, because even Russia, the Edomites, they are Edomites. Their defense, their army, the Lord is actually against them as well. Why? Because they are Edomites. But He's going to use them to do his bidding. When them ICBM missiles is shot from Russia, they're going to be bathed in the spirit of the Lord. Them missiles are going to hit exactly where the Lord want them to hit over here in Babylon the Great. Verse 4 says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws." Yeah, because Russia was known as the USSR until the beginning of the 1990s, after the Cold War. But they was known to be ruthless. They was known to be powerful, hardcore set of men over there, fighting men. It says, "And I will turn thee back." The Lord's going to turn back his spirit, to put that fighting spirit back into Russia. And what better way is it that that Russia is being provoked on both sides by the United States, is impeding on their partner, which is Iran, and also you have Ukraine is fighting against Russia, who Russia feel as though they are a part of. Ukraine is a part of Russia. So it says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor." That's his whole entire military. All of his ICBM missiles, his defense systems, all of that, It says, "Even a great company and bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." It says Persia, which is Iran today, and that's important to understand that. Ethiopia, Libya with them, and all of them with shields and helmets. You see, all of them coming is on Russia's side. It says Gomar, which is Turkey, and all of his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters, and all of his bands, and many people with them. "Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." And see, that's what the Lord has commissioned Russia to be, a guard unto these smaller countries. And Persia is who is being picked on, is being destroyed by Israel and America today. Because we know that the least of the flock shall draw them in, which is Israel's drawing in who? Babylon the Great, which is America, into this war. And Trump don't know what to do. He want to get out, but the Lord won't let him out. He say he's going to, end the war and it's going to be peace, but the Lord hardened his heart again. And then he right back at destroying Iran. Now they got their flunky, which is Ukraine, to, pick fight with Iran's shipments, which Ukraine has his hand full with Russia. So this is all provoking the bear, which is Russia. And that's why, the prophets here in Great Millstones is preaching this word on the highways and byways because this is the last. We're in the last days, man, and no other camps are bringing this out. No other camps are out there telling you about the bear, which is Russia, how it coincides with Revelation 13, which is a very important chapter that we're dealing with now. Like Elder Pastor Tahar always says, like dealing with the major prophecy, what we're dealing with today is Revelation 13, typically 15, 16 on down. The MOTB, the RFID chip, and how does it play out on this earth? Because we know the beast system is Esau's government, which is ran by the small hats, and all these countries have gotten rich through America, off America through who? The small hats, through the international banking families. All of these countries got rich, borrowed money, owe a debt to the international banking families. And these are the men who is bringing their new world order. The small hats. This is their new world order, which is the MOTB. And if you Google and find out that all these nations are already prepared to bring in the digital currency. It's already, look at China. They're all doing it, even though they're at war with each other. But they are in one mind when it comes to that digital currency. So we're just waiting on the wag the dog moment when this economy fails and they're gonna bring in the digital currency, and then what these camps are gonna say then? Are they gonna say, "Oh, Tahar was right"? Well, he was right when about the RFID chip. Then, well, good. That's good because this, a lot. Some will be saved, man. Some will be, will learn the truth and not take that chip. That's what it's all about. For it's all about the elect. Because the elect is going to get this truth and it's not going to take that RFID chip. But yeah, it says, "And be thou a guard unto them," and that's what the Lord has appointed Russia to be. You can't change that. He is a guard to these nations, including Iran, which is Persia. So how much is he going to take until they push Russia over the edge? And like the Lord said, "I will turn thee back and put hooks in his jaws." That's how he's doing it. Because when you put a hook into something jaw, if you put a hook in the jaw of a fish and you're trying to pull him up there, that fish is not trying to come up in the boat. That fish is trying to stay out in the water, trying to do what he want to do. But when you put that hook in his jaw and pull it, that fish ain't got no choice but to come up in that boat. You are demanding, commanding, and forcing that animal to obey what you're doing. It's not by choice. So Russia is gonna be a guard to these other nations. It's not by choice, because it's the Spirit of the Lord is on them, has ordained them to do it, man. Let's go to the Apocrypha. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 1. It says, "Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria." Babylon, Egypt, and Syria is also America is known by them names. Okay, it says, "Gird up yourselves with clothes of sack and hair, bewail your children and be worried, Salaki, and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand." So America's being warned, man. That this is a time of mourning. These are your last days as being a powerhouse or being in charge of this earth. The Edomites, your destruction is at hand. It says the sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? That sword has already been sent, man. Prophecy is all pointing to that. This place is primed for Yahweh shall return, and destroy it. It said a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? a fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Because when that happens, man, when that fire starts, nobody going to quench that fire, man. That's why it's known as the lake of fire. It's talking about America, and it's going to become that lake of fire, man. And who's going to quench it? It's going to burn for forever, meaning a long period of time, you know. And that's going to be the end of Esau's power here on this earth. And don't forget about Israel. Israel is going to burn as well. It's going to be destroyed. So when Yahweh Shah comes, he's going to be destroying Israel as well as America, you know. But the difference is that Israel is going to be rebuilt and inhabited by the true Israelites, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian. But it's going to be cleansed with this fire from all the filth that is going on over there, and all the hypocrisy and all of those hypocrites and all of those imposters that's over there now. It says, plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? May any man drive away any hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire in stubble when it hath begun to burn? No one can, man. You know? And don't forget, Yahweh Shai is going to be over here with his angels turning everything to stubble. You know? Turning everything to ash, man. It's gonna be a great day, man. It's gonna be the day of the Lord reckoning, man, with this devil Esau. You know, and the more he do is playing right into the prophecies. You know, and if you look at what's going on, it's the Edomites. The small hats is behind all of that. You know, the top banking families. The Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the Murdochs, the DuPonts, the Oppenheimers, you know, all of those top international banking families, man, they're behind it, you know. Verse 7, it says, may one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. And that strong archer is talking about Russia. When he send those ICBM missiles over here, man, listen, it's not going to be stopped. They're going to be bathed in the spirit of Yahweh, man. Meaning it's going to have his spirit on it, going to guide them spirits to the missiles to hit exactly where they wanted to hit. If you're not part of the elect, guess what? One of them ICBM missiles got your name on it. And that's why we pray that I'm a part of the hopeful elect, man. You know, because nobody knows who is part of the elect. That's why we say hopeful elect. But we know that the elect ain't gonna get touched by the missiles. The elect is gonna be taken up out of here. You know, that's referring back to Job, and it says, verse 8: the mighty Lord Yahweh sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? That's the work of Yahweh, man. He's doing this. This is his movie. This is his playbook. You know, it's just playing out here on earth, and we're witnessing it. It says, a fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? That's the Lord. That's the day of the Lord, man. When all that take place, we're just waiting on the MOTB, which is the RFID chip, to come out. You know? So with that, I pray you was edified. Call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakah HaKadosh. Pray you was edified. Again, double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone. Shalom.